up your classroom at the end of the school year is kind of like playing Tetris. You have to strategically arrange and pack your materials so that you can fit everything where it needs to go. Now, I'm not an expert at playing Tetris, but I do know how to pack up a classroom pretty efficiently. Not only have I packed up my classroom at the end of the school year for the past several years, but I have also packed up my entire classroom to move across the state to a new school. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my 12 best packing tips for teachers. My hope is that these tips will be helpful for you whether you are just packing up your room at the end of the year or if you are packing up to move to a new classroom or a new school. But keep in mind, not every tip will work for every teacher, so just pick and choose what works best for you and start packing. Tip number 1 is to take pictures of everything. Now, the key to this tip is to take pictures of things before you pack them up. If you already have pictures of how your cabinets are organized, how your library books are arranged, and how your desk is set up, it will make your life so much easier when it is time to unpack. Pictures are also helpful if you have friends or family members helping you to unpack, because instead of telling them where you want things to go, you can just show them a picture and then they can do it themselves. Tip number 2 is to start packing early. Trust me, you do not, under any circumstances, ever want to wait until the last day of school to start packing. Just don't do it. I personally suggest starting to pack 2 weeks before the end of the school year, but you know, that's just me. Obviously, different schools have different policies, so I do recommend checking with your administration to figure out when you can pack up, but you know, you can just thank me later when the bell rings on the last day of school and you can peace out because you're already done. Tip number 3 is to purge what you don't need. When it comes to packing, I really like to use the acronym ROLL. The R stands for repeat, so get rid of any items that you have duplicates of. The O stands for outdated, so get rid of any items that are old and you're not using anymore. The first L stands for level, so get rid of any materials that do not currently match the level you are teaching. I know as teachers, we always want to hold on to stuff just in case, but at least take it out of your classroom and store it somewhere else so it does not take up valuable space. The second L stands for love, so get rid of any items that you truly don't love, or in the words of Marie Kondo, don't spark joy. Now, when I say get rid of them, I don't mean throw them in the trash. My first recommendation would be to pass these items on to new teachers because they are the ones that need the materials the most. A few other options are to pass them on to other teachers in your school, donate them to consignment shops, or you can actually give them away to your students through a class auction or drawing. You should really only be throwing away items that are overly broken or gross and dirty, which tends to be a lot of the things in my room. Tip number 4 is to take an inventory. As you go through your materials, make a list of items that you have a surplus of that you definitely do not need to purchase over the summer, along with a list of items that you need more of so you know to focus on getting those over the summer. During those back to school sales that teachers love so much, we tend to forget what items we actually need, so having an inventory of what items you do or do not need will help keep you on track during those sales. Tip number 5 is to take important things home. If there are any materials or supplies that are of high value to you, I highly suggest you take them home with you over the summer. I repeat, take them home with you. As classrooms are getting cleaned and materials are getting moved around, things can get easily dropped and broken. You are always better safe than sorry, so just take them home with you. Personally, I have a set of 5 iPads I got through Donors Choose that I take home with me, along with a tower fan that I bought with my own money that was pretty expensive, and I just do not want to see it get broken. Tip number 6 is to ask for help. There is not much worse than packing up an entire classroom by yourself. See if you can enlist help from your family members or friends. You can offer to pay them, you know, with pizza or tutoring sessions with their kids. You can also reach out to parents to see if they are willing to volunteer some of their time to come in and help you. Better yet, you can have your students help you. You know, you've helped them learn all year, so the least they can do is help you pack. Now, before you do this, you do want to check with your district or administration so you know exactly what is allowed or not allowed. But even if your students don't help you physically pack, they can help you to kind of clean up your classroom at the end of the year. Some of my favorite simple jobs to give my students to do include having them test my markers and throwing away away any ones that don't work, having them go through my decks of cards to make sure they have all the correct cards and are not missing any, and playing my indoor recess game so they can figure out which pieces are missing. Your students most likely are eager to help you, or at least a couple of them are, so take them up on that offer and put them to work. Tip number 7 is to clean as you go. There is not much dirtier than a classroom at the end of the school year, or at least my classroom at the end of the school year. Obviously, custodians usually take care of most of the cleaning over the summer. However, you do need to spend time cleaning your organizational bins and materials that may be in cabinets or that the custodians may not otherwise clean. I personally love to clean my supply caddies using a magic eraser. It gets off all of the pencil marks and the marker streaks and the crayon marks on it, and then they look brand new and ready to go for the next school year. Side note, you can also get off-brand magic erasers from the dollar store for $1 and they work just as well. Also, some of your plastic containers can even be put in the dishwasher to be cleaned, and you can also throw cloth materials like pillow covers or dry erase erasers into the washing machine to get cleaned over the summer. If you clean these materials as you are packing up, you will have less work to do in the fall when you unpack. Tip number 8 is to cover what you can. Now, this tip really only works if you are staying in the same classroom the next year, but you can actually cover bulletin boards and posters using either paper or plastic shower curtains from the dollar store to help keep them protected and reduce the dust. You can usually find these in an 8-pack for $1, and you can cover book bins or other storage containers in a matter of seconds. I've also seen teachers buying large rolls of shrink wrap on Amazon, so you can wrap it around your entire bookcase to keep all of the dust out over the summer. So again, do what works best for you. Tip number 9 is to number your boxes. Unfortunately, if you are moving classrooms, you most likely need to pack your things into boxes. When you are packing boxes, you want to make sure to label them with your name, your new room number if you know it, and a list of all of the contents inside of the box. This will make it so much easier to unpack if you know exactly what is in the box before you open it. Instead of writing directly on the box, you can actually save yourself time by pre-printing half sheets of paper that already have your name and room number, so all you have to fill in are the contents of the box. Then all you have to do is tape that label onto the box and you are good to go. As you are packing your boxes, I do recommend numbering them sequentially. That way you know exactly how many boxes you are moving and you can help track down any boxes that may get lost. I also take photos of the labels on the boxes after they are numbered. That way I have documentation of every box number, what it contains, and I can help figure out exactly what box is missing if I don't have them all in the fall. Besides boxes, I did want to share a few other options for packing, all of which do come from the dollar store, so they're super affordable. First of all, you can buy these heavy-duty storage bags from the dollar store in a 3-pack for the large size for $1. These are great because they already have a built-in handle, so they're easy to move, and they work really well for items you may not want to put into a box. If you are packing pillows of any sort, you may want to purchase these vacuum storage bags from the dollar store that allow you to vacuum out the air and therefore save space. And finally, if you are packing up stuffed animals of any kind, you may want to grab one of these mesh laundry bags from the dollar store that you can easily throw them into and transport them from room to room. By the way, this video is not sponsored by any kind of dollar store, but you know, Dollar Tree, if you want to hit me up, I wouldn't be mad about it. Tip number 10 is to use painter's tape. I personally like to tape close the drawers of any organizational carts so that they're easier to move and the drawers don't pop open. But trust me, you do not want to use packaging tape or masking tape on plastic items because the tape will heat up over the summer and it will leave behind a sticky residue. Instead, you want to use painter's tape because it will come off of your materials cleanly without leaving a sticky residue. Now, I'll be honest, I have used painter's tape from the dollar store before and it's not my favorite. So I personally do splurge to get the Scotch brand of painter's tape, and you know, there goes my sponsorship opportunity with the dollar store. You can also use painter's tape to label any furniture items by simply writing with a Sharpie on the painter's tape. Tip number 11 is to make a back to school kit. I don't know about you, but one of the first things I set up in my classroom when I return during back to school time is my desk, because I always feel like once my desk is set up, my classroom already starts to feel like home again. One of the things that has made this super easy is packing up most of the materials from my desk into a bin and taking it home with me over the summer. That way, when I return in the fall, I bring it back with me and I already have all the materials I need to set up my desk. In my back to school kit, I typically put my pen caddy, a stapler, a tape dispenser, and any other items that I want to have for my desk so that I'm ready to go. But don't forget to put scissors and maybe even a box cutter into your back to school kit. That way, you know, you can open up all those boxes you packed. I also know some teachers that actually put copies for the first week of school into the back to school bin. I personally have never had my life together enough to actually do that, but you know, goals. Tip number 12 is to leave a map for the custodian. This is especially useful if you will be moving any larger furniture items. If you leave a map or even photographs of how you have your classroom set up, the custodians will be so much more likely to set up your classroom for you without being asked. That way, when you return to your classroom at the start of the next school year, hopefully your furniture will already be where it needs to go and you can just focus on unpacking your boxes. Now I'm going to throw out one little last minute plug for myself. I do have an end of the year organizational pack on Teachers Pay Teachers if you are interested. It is editable and includes all kinds of different checklists that you can use to help organize the end of your school year, so I will link it down in the description box if you are interested. Those are my 12 best tips for packing up your classroom. I really hope you found these tips helpful, and if you did, please go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to share it out with your teacher friends who may be packing up their classroom. If you have not already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you do not miss any future videos. As always, thank you for watching. I love you all so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video and for supporting my YouTube channel. If you want to check out any of my older videos, you can use the 2 links right down here. If you want to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos, you can use the link right up here. The links to all of my social media sites, my Teachers Pay Teacher store, my merchandise store, and my Amazon store are in the description box, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.